They're just good 2-drops. So when you're putting those cards into play, it's just fine. As we see green white aggro, you are so good at your job. Shoebox. Ah, give me the green white aggro list. It seems like the 1-drops that are better are the elves. The Arbor Elf and Avacyn's Pilgrim, and then you just go over the top of people with like Sublime Archangel, and so we see Thalia come into play, which is a nice card against band control.
Yeah, seems awesome.
Slow that Farseek, slow that Detention Sphere down, your Jace, slow all that stuff down. Make sure Rancor and your Charms cost more, but overall, really nice in this matchup. But the Elves let you go over the top with like Wolfer's Silverheart too, which is nice, because Silverheart is obviously a very busted card. Eric Lee coming on in, down a game against band control with his green-white aggro deck. And no follow-up, unfortunately.
Well, he has a Selesnya charm, so he can...
guess he can make a knight.
He can crank out a knight if he's feeling so inclined.
If you have not yet reported to your event, please do so.
As we're going to see a Farseek here. You also see in Eric's hand, I believe you see a Silverblade Paladin there. We also see an Oblivion Ring, some other stuff. Now, one of the things that Thalia will not stop is a land plus a Thragtusk.
Yep. Eric Lee on the Mercadian Mass Block constructed mana base of just forests and plains.
Keeping it honest.
Yep.
There are some Sun Petal Groves and some Temple Gardens looming. There's also one Gavany Township, a card I'm not a very big fan of in these green-white aggro decks.
That's surprising to me. It seems like with all your birds and elves, it's a pretty natural combination.
Now, there are 4 Avacyn Pilgrims and there are 3 Arbor Elves, but then the rest of the guys are just all big. You're not really a token deck. You're not Lingering Souls. You're not Gather the Townsfolking. A card that I've seen and I've liked a lot more, and I've had much more success in that spot, is Rogue's Passage. And that's the unblockable land. Because you just want to get your Double Striker through, you want to get the guy that's paired with Wolfer's Silverheart through, or your Sublime Archangel with all the Exalted triggers.
Yep.
It's weird that Gavany Township isn't that great, as he does have one. Eric has his one copy in his hand right now.
Yeah, it's hard for me to imagine a world where that card's not good enough, but I'm no expert with these decks, that's for sure.
As we are just going to see an Arbor Elf here for Eric. He is missing a white mana, so he can't play Silverblade Paladin, and the rest of his spells are looking to be rather difficult to cast because of Thalia.
Yeah, he's pinned down by his own Thalia a little bit. He has like Oblivion Ring, Garruk Primal Hunter.
Yeah, he has a Garruk Primal Hunter that's going to cost 6, so he needs to draw a land to be able to even cast it.
Well, he can at least start townshipping.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
You know, which actually seems better to me in a lot of ways, because you're not, you're also minimizing your exposure to Supreme Verdict.
So Owen just passes his turn back. He does not play a 5th land. As we see Eric draw a Rancor. Now, of course, buyer beware, because Restoration Angel is available here.
Yeah, yeah.
It looks like.
Do you like this better than just saying go?
For who, Eric?
Yeah.
I would play Rancor this turn.
Okay.
I'd play Rancor on Thalia and serve in. It's pretty no muss, no fuss. If he does play Restoration Angel, it can't block, and if something goes like horribly wrong, I don't think there's a ton that can go horribly wrong here. I could be wrong though. Why would you just want to pass? Why are you inclined?
Just township. Just it's more efficient. Like feels like more efficient use of your mana.
Okay. As we are going to see Restoration Angel here.
Like you give up how much? You give up 3 points. You give up some points this turn. You make some of it back by Rancoring next turn.
We're going to see Detention Sphere. If I'm Eric, I'm good with that. You know, it's like a little bit annoying, but
it frees up Garruk, which is a big deal.
Yeah, Garruk, huge deal in these against these mid-range decks. Crank out tokens, draw some cards, get himself out of mana screw.
Hedge against Supreme Verdict. Yeah. A lot of good stuff.
Now Owen's hand, he's leafing through it a little bit. We see there are 2 Sigardas in his hand. I believe there's also at least 1 Supreme Verdict, potentially 2.
Yeah. It looks a little gummed up.
And now right now you see Eric considering attacking with Restoration Angel. He's going to hold his ground right now. See, he locks it on Smiter here drawn.
Sure.
Bonk.
So, yeah. Assume we're just supposed to cast. If we Garrick +1, then we're out of range. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, options this turn are Garrick +1, make a beast, out of range Restoration Angel. He can play Smiter and like put a Rancor on it. I think I would have rather used all my mana this turn.
Yep.
Get Garrick online. Because there's just too much that can go wrong with your Loxodon Smiter.
Yes. Even if he plays like Thragtusk, it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not great to attack anymore. And
let's see, Jace, Architect of Thought for Owen.
whereas if he has, if he has Thragtusk, then you get to go. If you play your Garrick, you make a beast. He probably attacks it with Restoration Angel, plays Thragtusk, and then you go Oblivion Ring your Restoration Angel. Now, make another token.
Yeah.
Where ground's locked up, and now, pretty big edge.
And I don't like this split at all. The cards here are Restoration Angel, Azorius Charm, and Sunpetal Grove, and you know that Owen's missed his land.
Yeah, it's
multiple
just land spell split right here.
Yeah. There's no reason to give him 2 spells. You got to be cognizant of the fact that he's missed his land drop. So he's going to see Azorius Charm put on the bottom here. So Owen was basically gifted a free Restoration Angel there off of Jace. We'll see another Loxodon Smiter drawn there for Eric. Now, one thing that Eric can do this turn, Pat, is he can play a Garrick and draw 6 cards.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I guess.
Loses his Garrick, of course.
And he's gonna have to discard a bunch of those cards anyway.
Yeah.
I suppose we're probably attacking Jace here.
Yeah, it might be time to.
I don't know.
Owen's
I don't know. Maybe not. Owen's at 12. Yeah, it looks like he's just going right at him. This is pretty dangerous territory. Yeah, because now.
So Restoration Angel is going to bite the dust. There's going to be 2 trample damage.
And now we're going to Garrick.
Now we're going to Garrick. Now the question is he going to make a token, or is he going to? Or is he going to go all the way?
I think you're supposed to make a token here.
Yeah.
I think that block pretty clearly represents having Supreme Verdict for this turn, which means I think it's just way more valuable to have your Garrick still in play after the fact than give up so much tempo drawing a bunch of cards you're going to have to end up discarding anyway.
And the aforementioned card, Supreme Verdict, was Owen's draw step. Now I'm under the belief that he had at least one already in his hand.
That block doesn't make sense otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
We are going to see Jace Factor Fiction again. We see a Thragtusk. I think the initial card was a Loxodon Smiter. And then, okay, there's another Smiter. So.
Yeah. There is only one logical split here. There it is.
There it is. Yep, that would be it. Smiters go bye-bye.
Yeah.
Now we see the uncounterable Wrath. So if you're Eric, you still feel as though you're in you're not in great shape, but you're still in pretty good position.
Oh, for sure.
So we're going to see Owen discard Sigarda for his discard steps. Does have 7 cards in hand, and it's 7 spells. So we see Sunpetal Grove drawn for Eric, so now he has access to double white mana, so Silverblade Paladin will no longer be stranded. And we know he has an Oblivion Ring and a bunch of other things in his hand. It's just all about now sequencing the spells in the correct order. Got to get them out of your hand and start attacking.
Yep. And just, minimizing, again, with the Tension Sphere, with the Tension Sphere thing, it's not like you can guarantee that you can lean on Garrick the whole time. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of it is just like, how do I use my resources efficiently? Also, how do I minimize my exposure to something like running Rats, or like put a terminus off the top plus a Tension Sphere, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. As we're going to see Smiter with Rancor again, and now Eric is going to draw 6 cards.
Sure.
2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now he's catching up with Owen in the cards race while still having a good board presence.
Yeah. So, you know, we have another Rancor in our hand.
Oh, easy, easy. Played Sunflower Grove this turn.
Just cast a Rancor on your guy with your mana that's left over, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's that or you just play Absence Pilgrim, but...
Oh, sure, yeah. Sure.
Yeah, those are the two things that he can cast this turn. I feel like putting another Rancor on your guy and just having a giant threat in play, forcing him to either, you know, de-sphere it, something like that, is perfectly legit.
I guess you have access to that next turn. It's less information for him to work with if you don't cast it.
Well, I think by playing the other Rancor, you make yourself an 8/4 smiter. It kind of leads him into casting a Thragtusk, getting 5 life, attempting to trade, and then you playing Silverblade Paladin on it, and partnering up, and then just in for beat down a clock. This way, there's 2 guys on the board. I feel like Owen now that there's 2 creatures on the table, maybe more likely to cast Supreme Verdict. Maybe not. Maybe this is still a situation where he's still okay casting Thragtusk.
Yeah. Like, 'cause if you're gonna play Thragtusk and block, and then have to probably Wrath anyway the next turn, you might as well Wrath straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah, Owen's just like choked on mana with a bunch of expensive cards in his hand, so just not able to deploy his cards very efficiently.
So Owen, ton of cards in his hand, a lot of options here.
Yeah, but he can't. He just needs to find a way to be able to cast 2 spells in 1 turn.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. And looking at his hand and sort of his expression, I just don't think he can find a way to like start actually coming back over the top. He's just responding to plays too much and not proactively pushing his own forward.
We see 5 mana here. I mean, it's very, very appetizing to play a Thragtusk here, but
I also think he really needs to set up Supreme Verdict Detention Sphere in the same turn. Like
Sure.
that's got to be the line at some point.
Sure.
That allows him to clear off everything. Eric does whatever Eric does on his following turn, and then Owen can start leveraging back.
sure. Playing Thragtusk there is so easy to do. The problem is like that now this should be the turn where he just takes the old kick in the face of Sublime Archangel, plus Silverblade Paladin.
Combo
up.
deck.
Yeah.
That's gotta be. I'm not counting, but that's lethal, right?
Yeah.
Like super lethal.
I'm not a math major,
Yeah.
but that's a bit of a combo.
Yeah.
So that's 4, 5, 6 million approximately.
All right, game 3. How does it warm your heart when you just see this collection of green and white creatures overpower a bunch of Raz and Thragtusks and Planeswalkers?
I made a career out of it,
Sure.
so it makes it great to watch.
Yeah.
Just pacing a game against a control deck with Ravs, and I didn't have to play against Thragtusk back in the day, but
There's different horrible stuff going on.
yeah, there's different horrible, similar, awesome creatures or Cruel Ultimatum and stuff I had to play against, and I never really I don't mind playing against these kind of decks with an aggressive deck, especially with the tools that these aggressive decks have. Rancor, Silverblade Paladin, Sublime Archangel. It has very, very good cards.
Yeah, and some reach too. Not reach in the conventional, burn sense, but definitely the ability to punk someone out from a pretty high life total.
Yeah, and an aggressive deck to me is basically what we said about a good aggressive deck to me. Excuse me, is basically what we said with the red deck that Travis is playing. You can go guy, force a Wrath or a removal spell or something, force them to act by having 2 guys in the play. This is the same thing that this deck can do because of Rancor. It can play a threat and then Rancor it, and play have like Elf 2-drop Rancor the 2-drop. All right, you have to deal with this part of the game.
Yep.
They play a Wrath. All right, let's play the next portion of the game, and you just keep doing that over and over and over again. But your threats are better than their answers, and if they don't have their answers, they're obviously dead. looking at the sideboard as we jumped into this match, we are going to game 3 here. So both players have sideboarded. Owen taking a look again, pulling a Dissipate forward. What do you see that he has, Patrick?
I mean, really nothing for this matchup. Unless he wants Smiters to trade, he's got Geysers Chain Trap, which seems quite bad here. He has Rest in Peace, Ray of Revelation, Dissipate, Dispel, like Cavernous Souls. I mean, he's got nothing, basically, for this matchup.
Whereas, taking a look at Eric's green-white aggro list, we know that he boarded in his Oblivion Rings. He has a Thalia in his sideboard, which is the only... he has 3 copies of Thalia in main deck, and he has a 4th one in his sideboard. He also has Sigarda, Host of Herons, which is, yeah, it's okay. You know, it flies over Thragtusk in a manner that Thundermaw Hellkite does. No haste, of course, but can't be Detention Sphered, so there's a trade-off there. Also, it can Legend Rule Owen's Sigarda, which we saw that game.
Although Sigarda is not one of the more meaningful cards in the matchup.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 Faith Shields here, which is a card I have been super impressed with in testing this deck. You know, countering a Detention Sphere, being able to push through a Thragtusk, even though you have to be a little bit careful with Rancor, because that's green as well.
It's a non-bow.
Yeah, it is, yeah, the classic non-bow, as it were. But there are some definitely upsides to that card in the deck, and one of them is being able to trump an Azorius Charm, which I think Owen has at least some copies of, right?
4.
Okay, yeah, being able to blow out an Azorius Charm is a huge deal. So, I wouldn't be surprised to see Face Shields come in here as well. He doesn't have a ton of cards to sideboard out. A lot of the cards are good here. I think Wolfir Silver Art's one of the lesser cards because it is so expensive. So, we'll see exactly which way it's going to go as we're suiting up here for Game 3. Both players drawing their opening 7.
And Owen's hand looks a little sketchy. I don't know if he's got... Oh, no, he's got Temple Garden. He has Temple Garden Farseek. I did not see the Temple Garden. No, his hand's totally fine.
As we see over here for Eric, Eric drew a Rancor this turn. He has Eternal Absence Pilgrim, which is a huge deal both in this deck and in this matchup.
Yeah. So, soon we'll go get a Hallow Fountain to fill out all of our mana here.
I'm not quite sure if Owen has the 4th land yet.
No, I don't. I think he was on 2 lands Farseek.
Okay.
This is clearly a totally fine hand to keep, but there are some risks. He's got an Azorius Charm, too, to cycle.
Yeah, he's got a Charm, he's got a Thragtusk, he's got a Detention Sphere, so he's got, of course, the powerful spells that his deck, you know, has access to. He just needs the lands to cast them.
Yep. So, we untap and draw. We just drew a Strangleroot Geist.
We did.
Pretty good.
Yeah, not a bad draw. As Temple Garden's going to come and play on tap, knocking Eric down to 18. Eric has the option, so he can play Silverblade Paladin, he can play Strangleroot Geist. He's going to opt to do that.
I like this.
Yep.
Again, trying to advance your board state, advance like your clock, without walking directly into the maws of a Supreme Verdict.
So we see Sun Petal Grove peeled off the top for Owen. Going to be able to operate. Problem here for him is he has a Jace Architect of Thought in play, but only 1 blue.
And we probably have to, yeah, this is, you know, again, why I liked Eric's play so much last turn is he's got something like Detention Sphere in his hand, which just for the sake of his mana curve, he would like to cast on something, but it's so, like, mopey on these guys, you know what I mean? He needs to save this for the heavy hitters. But it's also risky to take these points because with Sublime Archangel and Silverblade Paladin, whatever, any one random threat can just turn into lethal.
Yeah.
If you take too many of these kind of pot shots.
And that's one of the things, Patrick, that I really like about this green-white deck. You talk about, you know, it's so mopey, those guys that you can hit with Detention Sphere, but this is very untraditional of a white deck. This deck hits hard.
Yeah.
This particular version of this white aggressive deck hits very hard with Silverblade Paladin, with Rancor, and with Sublime Archangel. As we see a Rancor here on Strangleroot Geist and the Silverblade Paladin.
So this is going to be an Azorius Charm, I would have to assume.
Yeah, that's an attack for 8 damage.
Yeah. That's not a little amount.
No. And yeah, this has to be an Azorius Charm.
Yeah.
And that's an Azorius Charm that you can best believe that that Owen would have rather cycled.
Yes. Because he's just in the same spot next turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. This doesn't get any better.
As he draws a Sigarda, Host of Herons, this turn a card that he can't cast.
Now we had to, like, Detentions. Yeah, it's like, these trades are all so, like, just so marginal.
So we're going to see a Plains here.
Yeah, Sublime Archangel as well, but I assume we're just going to Rancor, just keep ourselves, you know, as protected from Supreme Verdict as we reasonably can be. And then Sublime Archangel is an option for us if he's ever in range.
Yeah, if the window's ever open,
yeah, just
closes it immediately. As we see Owen draw another Detention Sphere. And this just goes back to just this is a perfect, if you could draw it, this is a perfect way to pace a game against this kind of deck. Just, you know, a little bit of threats, a Rancor, and you know he has to keep answering and answering and answering.
You're getting in your damage the whole way through. Oh boy.
You see Oblivion Ring here.
Oh boy.
Give me that guy back. I think we're gonna change our Facebook status and Rancor up. So in for 6.
Change our Facebook status to in a relationship?
Yeah, they are in a relationship right now. And so now Owen is facing down a lethal attack. He is fortunate to draw the 5th land here. Options between Sigarda, Jace, Architect of Thought, which is one of the bad ones.
Yeah.
And then Thragtusk, which is a fine one. But again, how good is Thragtusk here?
It's okay. It's not horrible. It's just, you know.
It's just not boom Thragtusk.
Yeah. And, you know, Eric's still got plenty of cards in his hand, too. I mean, I don't see how it could be anything other than Thragtusk, right?
Tameo, the Moon Sage is an option as well. I didn't see that in his hand, but again, when you have Thragtusk and you have the ability to cast it, typically it's Thragtusk. Maybe Tameo wouldn't have done much better here.
Yeah, you're almost certain that play is, I think, you almost certainly die doing that.
So Eric is going to draw a card. We know he has Sublime Archangel in his hand. He also has Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, and then a mystery card. That mystery card is Loxodon Smiter.
Yep. And Eric's got to decide now just how willing is he to take to risk Supreme Verdict here, because casting the Sublime Archangel is, I do not believe it's lethal. 3, 4, 5, 6, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 minus. Yeah, I don't believe Sublime Archangel is lethal.
Correct.
Which means that if he casts it, then he's like kind of exposed to Supreme Verdict. Now, based on Owen's last turn, I think it's reasonable to assume that that card's not there.
I would agree with that as well. I would
probably just be willing to shove here, because I don't think. I mean, I guess maybe Terminus could be in his hand, and you're worried about the 6th land.
Yeah, I mean, the other reason to shove though is because if he had like 2 lands left in his hand and nothing else, then I would see, I would consider something else. But he has 2 creatures in his hand.
Right.
He has a Thalia and he has a Loxodon Smiter in his hand. So he has 2 very real spells in his hand as well. Where I would slam down Sublime Archangel, attack him for 12, and then 12 minus 3 is 9.
Well, here's the counter argument, I guess. If you're pretty sure he doesn't have Supreme Verdict, but you're worried about Terminus,
okay,
doing it this way means you can play Thalia, which locks. Now you don't have to worry about Terminus next turn, and now your following turn, Sublime Archangel definitely kills him.
Okay, sure. And I think that's the line he's about to take right now.
Right.
There's a Thalia. Okay,
yeah.
Perfect.
Because it's reasonable Owen could have Terminus in his hand.
Sure.
You know, so that has to be on your radar, even if you don't think Supreme Verdict could be.
And now, oddly enough, that card shuts off, like, that card just shut off Tameo in his hand. So now it has to be Supreme Verdict, and Supreme Verdict is his turn. So yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I actually like your line.
Yeah.
Owen draws his card. It is a bit of a mystery.
Like now, even if you cast another Thragtusk, the Sublime Archangel is
just out of hand.
An Imph.
Now we know he has a Sigarda in his hand. So let's say he plays Sigarda this turn. Plays Sigarda, passes back. It's 5. It's 8 toughness.
Yeah, I mean it's at the worst all the creatures are dead.
Yeah.
So it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14 minus
14
8
minus 8 is 6, puts him to 2.
But he has to block with both creatures.
Yes, or he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that also means that there's a Smiter still left in Eric's hand.
Yeah.
Like if there's a Wrath coming, the Rancor's coming back to his hand.
Thalia's still in place, so Terminus is
it's still off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm considering a few things. Eric keeping the Pilgrim and the Paladin next to each other, saying we're still in a relationship. Things haven't gone sour yet.
Yeah, we're still bonded.
She didn't find my Nickelback CD yet, so we're still together.
All right.
All right, so Sigarda comes into play.
I assume this will be Sublime Archangel.
I think it is 100% time for Sublime Archangel. There's the Temple Garden. It is time for no muss, no fuss.
Still thinking here. I mean, again, if I'm in Eric's position, I just don't believe that Supreme Verdict's in his hand.
Me either.
Yep.
And he's come to the same conclusion. Yeah. Just taking his time, thinking his playthrough, considering the options. You get the 4 Exalted triggers here. It's going to make Avacyn Pilgrim to a 7-power double-striking trample creature, which is, like fine or whatever. It's not like anything great.
It's okay. It's all right, I guess. It's okay. He just has to shove both in front, right?
Yeah, I mean, he dies otherwise. This is 7 minus the 5 from Sigarda, puts it to 2, puts him to 6, and then he dies, yeah. So he has to put both in front. Now, the interesting thing here is that he is going to end up losing the Pilgrim. No, Exalted is... Well, it's plus X plus X. Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. For some reason, I was thinking it was plus X plus O, like Battle Cry, but it's not.
No.
So yeah, he's not going to lose Pilgrim at all. And now... Owen,
even if he rips Terminus, we still have backup.
How do we do? Dun 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 dun. Du, 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 du.
I'm willing to bet that's not Terminus.
I'm going to agree with you.
All right.
And Eric Lee.
Green and white, honest creatures.
Green and white beat down a clock, as I call it. TikTok beat down a clock. Able to, he was down a game.